Hello Ottawa, Happy Pride Canada, joyeuse fierté! Nous sommes ici sur la colline parlementaire, ici pour la 3e fois, afin de célébrer la saison de fierté. Thank you all for being here today. I want to thank personally all of the members of Parliament, all of the ministers for being here, and all of the members of the LGBTQ2 community and your and our allies. This is the time for us all to be proud. Pride season is a time where we celebrate who we are, how we are with our community and with our family, however we define that family. Prime Minister, I am particularly pleased that 2 of my family members delayed their flights to be with us for this Pride flag raising, my sister-in-law Leanne and my 10-year-old nephew Andrew. Give us a wave. Of course, I'm very pleased that our Prime Minister, the Right Honourable Justin Trudeau, is with us once again, and for his commitment and dedication to an inclusive and diverse Canada. Nous sommes ici afin de célébrer les drapeaux de la fierté. Ces drapeaux sont les symboles de tout ce qui exige mieux de notre société, particulièrement pour ceux et celles qui toutefois ne se sentent pas comptés dans notre société et veulent être acceptés. Puisque ces symboles d'inclusion et d'égalité sont reconnus par tous les Canadiens. Let these symbols speak to queer people of color, to Two-Spirit and LGBTQ Indigenous people, to gender non-binary people, to people with disabilities, to intersex Canadians, to our rural and northern kin, to gay, lesbian, and bisexual youth and seniors, and to every beautiful one of you in between, to every stratum of society, to you, to me, to history, and to generations to come. Je veux que tous les Canadiens élèvent leur voix et qu'il n'ait pas à crier pour être entendus. Les excuses historiques présentées par le Premier ministre étaient un pas en avant dans cette direction. Par la suite, nous avons vu d'autres exemples de changements positifs au Canada, aussi récemment que cette semaine. I cannot wait to see more. And my team and I will not stand idly by, waiting for more change to come. We will work with each and every one of you to drive that change. We know that we have more work to do, and soon the Prime Minister will introduce you to a young man named Ryan Brown, who created the Owen Sound Pride Parade because he thought it was the right thing to do. Our community is 2 to 4 times more likely to experience violence. 30 to 70% of homeless youth in Canada are LGBTQ2. Today, still, many LGBTQ Canadians hide who they are to get a job, to keep a job. Let us walk together, work together, push together, so that none of us is left behind. A wise friend once said to me that in politics, you need to learn and tell stories. Recently, a grandmother friend of mine introduced me to her 21-year-old granddaughter at an event. She came up to me, she said hi, we chatted. She's going to be moving from Halifax to my city of Edmonton. She let her grandmother leave, and she grabbed me in a tight hug. And she looked me dead in the eyes and she said, on behalf of my 2 moms, thank you for making Canada the place where I can be me, where my moms can be my moms, and where our family can be as we want it to be. Keep up the good work. That is our fight. Ça c'est notre lutte. And the strongest ally that we have in this fight is the Prime Minister of Canada, the Right Honourable Justin Trudeau.
Merci Randy, merci pour tout le travail extraordinaire que tu fais pour nous tous, pour les citoyens d'Edmonton Centre, mais aussi en tant que représentant spécial pour le Premier ministre pour la communauté LGBTQ2. Tu fais un job extraordinaire et c'est un grand privilège pour moi d'être de retour pour la 3e année d'affilée pour monter les drapeaux de la fierté sur la colline parlementaire. It's also really important that this be open to everyone. And I see a whole bunch of MPs from different parties. I see Green Party leader Elizabeth May, a whole bunch of Liberals, including cabinet ministers, a handful of others as well. We're going to get a group picture with all MPs up on stage afterwards. So if you could slowly make your ways to the edges, that would probably be better, the MPs. And we can celebrate, as we always do, that this goes beyond partisanship, because over the past years we've made some significant progress as a country on recognizing and celebrating the rights not just of LGBTQ2 communities but of all Canadians. We've moved forward in significant ways because respecting each other's rights is foundational to a country that understands that differences should and can always be a source of strength, never a source of weakness. That we are stronger and more resilient when different identities, different communities come together around a shared vision of a stronger future, of a better neighborhood, of a better country for us all. And that is truly what we are celebrating. But specific to the LGBTQ2 community, we've made some incredible advances over the past year. Now, trans Canadians have full protections under the human rights legislation. That is something that we've added. And I was reminded that last year at this ceremony, I made a commitment that we would move forward on expunging the criminal records of those convicted of offenses just because of who they loved. And that, I can tell you, we're receiving royal assent for C-66, that piece of legislation, tomorrow. So it took 1 year to get that through. And of course, many of you will remember last November, we formally apologized for decades of institutional discrimination by the Canadian government, by various organizations like the armed forces and the police against LGBT community members. And this is something that we continue to know we have a lot more work to do, because we do have a lot more work to do. And for everything that government can and should be doing in support in changing legislation, there is a lot more than each and every one of you in your communities across the country can do, of promoting not just tolerance, because when you think about it, tolerance, use tolerance in a sentence. I tolerate you. That doesn't sound very warm and fuzzy. That's not what we should be aspiring to as a country. When you say I tolerate you, it's I agree that you have a right to exist, just don't get in my face too much about it. We shouldn't be talking about tolerance. We should be talking about love and acceptance and friendship and respect. That's what we should be aiming for, and that's what we should be building, and that's something on each and every one of us as citizens that we can and should do. And if you're looking for inspiration, you're seeing us around here and all these politicians in these big buildings, they can make real changes happen. Well, I want to introduce you to someone that Randy mentioned, someone who's been an inspiration for me with the quiet actions that he's taken that led to a real concrete change in his community. Now, if you know your geography, you know that Owen Sound isn't perhaps the first place you think of when you think of diversity and tolerance and acceptance. But my friend here, Ryan Brown, has proved that it is. He stepped up and realized that Owen Sound didn't have a pride parade and decided that he needed to organize it. He wasn't too sure of how it was going to happen, but he got a few organizations involved, and suddenly it snowballed, and more than 1,000 people walked through the streets of Owen Sound, 25 different floats, local leaders of all different levels coming together to show that pride is something we all can and must be involved in, that it goes beyond identity politics, it goes beyond partisan politics. It's something that each of us needs to share that message, that we are there for each other in respect, in acceptation, and indeed in love, like your t-shirt says. So thank you so much, Ryan. Give me a hug. And Ryan and I are going to raise the pride flag while Randy raises the trans flag, and we're going to make history for the 3rd year in a row on Parliament Hill.